Hi. Today's episode is about marriage. Contrary to the thumbnail, there's a story about the thumbnail, actually, and I'll tell that at the end of the episode. So, first off, I gotta start with a correction. My wife saw it fit to correct me for a good reason. So, we've been married 11 years and together for 15 instead of 10 and 16. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. We had similar circles of friends that did overlap with a few folks, and they all kind of conned us out to going to meet at a bar. So, with the sole purposes of us getting together and meeting up. I remember when I first saw her, she was wearing these high heels, these black high heels, and I called them her Cyndi Lauper shoes. They were, it was like bright neon spray paint that was all over them, and it was great. I was like, dang, look at those shoes. I'm gonna go see about that girl. I remember she wore a purple cardigan most of the night. Yeah, that was a good night. We talked pretty much the whole time. We didn't really dance much, didn't drink much. We just talked, but it was really loud. So once we started having to yell at each other, we decided to get out of there. And we met up with some friends again and went to a bonfire and pretty much just sat outside by ourselves talking by the car the whole time. I think eventually we ended up going to the bonfire, but it was mostly just us talking all night. The rest is history. We did still do a lot of partying up until she started going to school. I mean, we went to bars from time to time, met up with a lot of friends. We've had roommates and stuff like that that lived with us for a while, which, much to her chagrin. But yeah, it was mostly about the money. We didn't have great jobs yet. I was still working retail, and I made enough money to pretty much support us both when she started going to school. And she still worked full time. I remember the first job that she had when we were together. It was like a secondhand clothing place where they bought and sold clothes and stuff like that. So, and then after that, she started working at the local bar that we frequented. Discount. She started as a server, and then she was a bartender. And yeah, she made a lot of really good friends there. Some of which she still talks to. While she was working there, she started going to school, pretty much full time. I think when she went for dental hygiene. She's a dental hygienist now, and once she got into, I guess we'll call it clinicals. I did sit in her chair for over 100 hours, I think, and some of her colleagues' chairs as well. I had a particular resistance to dental work, I guess, so I was happy to help. Plus, the chairs were relatively cozy. And money was hard because she wasn't able to work as much, but I was still making enough to kind of support us both. And I guess money is always like an ongoing struggle. I think that's the thing that is always the main point of contention with us. That and managing our time and sleep and eating properly as two full time working adults. But while that was happening, right at the overlap there, where she was still working at the bar, and I think she graduated school. But yeah, she's pregnant with our kiddo, and she was up till about 9 months. She was working full time because she's a machine. And he showed up precisely when he meant to. He was actually born on his due date, which is apparently rare, I guess. I don't know. But it was he was born hard. She had preeclampsia, so she had to take like magnesium, and he was basically, they said he was a mag baby or something like that. The magnesium had affected a valve in his heart, and he had some sinus issues when he was born, and she had to have full on surgery and stuff like that. So I was a little stressed. I was like, my family. But it all worked out. I mean, we were in and out of the hospital for a little bit after that until everything sort of leveled out with her body. And then right after that, COVID happened. Hooray! Boo, boo, COVID, boo. Um, So I mean, we were doing it alone, all alone. Didn't have friends or family. Everybody was sort of stuck inside. I was able to work from home though, so we're still good. She took all the time that she needed. She did not go back to work until after all the shenanigans were done, basically, until they started letting people go back to work. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was tough, but we got through it. I think the Christmas after he was born, we all got COVID. That sucked. On the plus side, though, uh, we couldn't smell, so diapers weren't that big of a deal. But we were constantly checking to see if he had something because we couldn't smell it. Anyway, but our parenting styles are very complementary. Sorry, I'm moving my notes as we do this. I'm got like a little thing set up right there, so bear with me here. Sorry. But our parenting styles are very complementary. She is more of the caring and the teaching, compassion, and she she's got the time to do more of the trips to the libraries and stuff like that because she's got a regular sort of 9 to 5 sort of schedule, whereas my retail schedule is constantly changing. But and I'm more the chill, and I kind of promote questions and talking things out, and you know. But I do have the secret weapon. I have the daddy voice. If things go south. So usually, if I have to break that out, it's he straightens up pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, and we both still work full time, and we parent full time, and we pass each other like farts in the wind. We get maybe an hour or two a day to spend with each other, and it's tough, but we make it work. We find balance, and but we are in the grind, man. We're going strong. It's kind of an ongoing thing, but we make it work. We do. Now, I'd like to tell a story about how I proposed to her. We had planned a trip with friends, and we were going to go to Portland, Oregon. You know, because I really wanted to, check out the. I was a big fan of Goonies, so I wanted to see Cannon Beach, which is a few hours outside of Portland. And we went with friends, so it was like a whole trip, and we met up with some local friends that lived out there, and we did some drinking, a little bit of partying, but that was the trip that I knew I wanted to propose to her. So I was a little, I was nervous and anxious. Not because I thought she'd say no, but like, come on, man, I was asking the question. I was gonna pop the big question, and it was a little nerve wracking. So I felt a little ill because I was so nervous and anxious. But we decided to go to a waterfall. It was Multnomah Falls. It was about an hour outside of Portland. And it was a bit of a hike on switchbacks to get up to the top. And I was huffing and puffing, man, because I was struggling to keep it together. um, but then we get to the top, and I'm like, well, now's as good a time as any. And I grab the ring, and I get down on one knee, and I propose to her, and I'm holding the box the wrong way. But she said yes, and we were all crying. Her friend was freaking out, trying to get to the camera ready because I didn't really tell her because I didn't want her to blow my cover. Which, by the way, my friend who came with us almost did. I had him hide the ring in his backpack, and he had it all balled up into his socks. And when we got to the hotel room, he dumped his bag out, and all of a sudden it hits the coffee table, and it's like thunk, and I'm like, bro. And he's like, oh shit, sorry. And that's the story of how we got together. Long story short, it's stressful. Marriage is a constant craft. We're constantly building it, constantly making it stronger. As we get older and the responsibilities change and we grow, but we're making it work. And it's the best decision I've ever made. So, well, thanks for let me share this with you guys. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to put them down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this little story, like, comment, and subscribe. Well, thanks, guys. Can't wait to see you again.